Hello, I'm Paddy O'Connell from Weekend World, the programme that looks ahead to life on this channel over the weekend. When it came to looking ahead to life in the future, hundreds of young people gathered in London to debate the problems of the world. Who could the BBC rustle up to send along to cover it? Hello, welcome from London to a summit that plans quite simply to change the world. Hundreds of delegates have arrived from more than 100 countries to form a new global movement. They all have one thing in common: they're 25 years old or younger, and the new movement is called One Young World. They reckon that the leaders of the present have messed things up for the people who'll inherit it in a few years' time, and they want to change the me generation of today to the we generation of tomorrow.
At One Young World, they're discussing a lot of the big issues that matter to this generation, from their faith, international finance, politics, health, the power of the media. There's an awful lot to cover in just 2 days. But they have some old hands to help them, no less than 3 Nobel laureates: Kofi Annan, Muhammad Yunus, Desmond Tutu, and that angry young man, Bob Geldof. He's still angry.
They're billed as the leaders of tomorrow, and the first test of their true grit was a riverboat trip on the River Thames on a biting winter night on the eve of the conference.
This one is the most beautiful flag from Venezuela, my friend.
On board, young people from around the world mingled. There was no shortage of enthusiasm.
This conference will make a change because everyone out there is listening to the young leaders of tomorrow.
It's just amazing how many very talented, how many outstanding young people that One Young World has been able to gather together, and it's just breathtaking.
I have already made friends with people from Nigeria, from France, from Lebanon, so it's very exciting.
A few miles upriver, with the snow falling, everyone was keen to get the traditional photo call over with as soon as possible.
Inside, there was a warm welcome awaiting from Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
I want to salute you, for you are a fantastic bunch of human beings. You dream, dream.
But Bob Geldof, veteran of campaigning causes, brought the delegates down to earth with a bump.
I'm going to ask you over the next 2 or 3 days to be completely unreasonable people. Now, we don't know what way this world is going to shape up at the beginning of this century. God knows. I hope for something other than the murderous century, my century, that we just left.
Ladies and gentlemen, the One Young World Summit will be starting in 5 minutes.
The next morning, nearly 1,000 20-somethings turned up at the conference centre, ready to buckle down to some hard work. Would they be unreasonable? How could they not be, after they were lectured by Bob Geldof?
The delegates here believe that they're the ones who are going to be picking up the tab for abuses on the environment over many long years. What surprise would it be then that the first summit of the day, the first meeting from all of them gathered from all over the world, would be to call for action on environmental protection. For each session, VIP guests or councillors were on the stage, but their role was mainly to listen and learn after introducing younger delegates.
I want to thank the delegates for the great perspectives that they provided here. Sorry about my bad hair day.
That's why I was given to introduce it.
This is about justice, climate justice. We cannot keep discounting the welfare of future generations for our own present.
We often think that a small action, it might be insignificant, but these very small actions make a big impact. let's not forget that every single drop is what makes up an ocean.
I am sure that as a Chinese delegate here, that my fellow American delegates, Canadian delegates, French delegates, they're all willing to sacrifice a little bit of their development, a little bit of their well-being, just to make sure that we still live in this world, and there is a world for us to live in.
It's not the global deal that is going to save this planet. It's the concrete action taking on each gas power plant, each coal power plant, each fossil car that has to be done something about. And that, I believe, is what we as young people can do.
So press 1 for agree, 2 for disagree, and 3 to abstain.
After each debate, a vote is taken live in the hall using electronic handsets and online. This one called for governments to do more to cut carbon emissions.
Fantastic, we have our first ever One Young World resolution.
The plan is to pass One Young World's agenda for change onto world leaders. So it was handy to have a former UN Secretary General on hand to give his reaction. And here, coming to the stage now, Kofi Annan, being applauded by people ultimately who want his job. They want to move from the audience to the stage.
You are not satisfied with the leadership my generation has given you so far. And you're going to do better. And I think you should. From what I have seen in this room and what I have heard this morning, I have every hope that you will do better than my generation has done. And you must also remember that leaders, good leaders, are also good followers. If they don't lead, you should make them follow. Yeah. You can make them follow by raising your voices, making such a noise that they cannot ignore you.
Outside the conference hall, in a networking area, perhaps the most important business was going on. Friendships formed and contacts exchanged. I caught up with 2 of the contributors to the environment debate.
I'm Adrian from Hong Kong, China, and I'm 16, turning 17. So.
Now, you say 16. Adrian's just given me a business card. He's one of the few 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds in the world with a business card. It's amazing.
Yes, thank you for that compliment.
It is a compliment. And Parker?
Yeah, I'm Parker Liotta. I am 15, so yeah.
Do you have a business card?
No, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
You need to catch up.
I need to catch up. Yeah, I guess people my age should be having business cards.
You've got a plan. What is it?
I'm doing an expedition to the geographic North Pole. Hopefully, if I complete it, I'll become the youngest person in history to have done that. The main idea is it's part of an initiative to inspire, inform, and engage young people in a real dialogue on environmental issues facing the polar regions. That's sort of the main idea, and this is going to be done mainly through social networking. So we're going to have a sort of microsite, and all our communications for the expedition and beyond are going to be pushed through Facebook, Twitter. We're going to have a Google Earth layer, so you can stroll into the Arctic and see our expedition.
And living in Hong Kong as you do people tell me sometimes the smog is overpowering?
Yes, it definitely is.
And do you think as a young Hong Kong Chinese man, boy, a young person, 15-year-old, is that something that motivates you? You see the smog, you breathe the smog, you want to do something about the smog?
Yes, definitely. Well, I've been also involved in some campaigns in Hong Kong where we have declarations that young people actually will stand for a greener lifestyle. And I think that's something that we all have to fight.
Interesting that they've chosen media as one of their big issues. It's all about identity and power. But what is media for them? Is it radio, television, newspapers, or Twitter and Facebook? And what about power? Can it really change their world?
Global media is now dominated by 5 giant firms, and the ability to craft, control, and filter the news for mass distribution is now the domain of only a select few corporations who effectively influence public opinion.
All of us gathered here today are so passionate about issues that affect us, not only in our local communities, but also globally. In our quest to address these issues, we are using the media as never before as young people.
The resolution was to harness the power of the media to ensure the truth is made known. But that, just like some of the other resolutions, was a bit mother and apple pie for some. The traditional media came in for a pasting.
Let me start by saying that I agree with this resolution, but there are troubling lack of specific recommendations necessary for this statement to carry any significant weight. This said, I think we all would agree that the news media should disseminate information that is accurate, ideologically neutral, and checks the balances of power. I think we all would further agree that the failures of media to do so have had dire consequences.
We are no longer blinded with filtered information. We have movements on the ground that have brought our information online. We are now empowered to gain ownership, not only in championing our causes, but in crowdsourcing, in campaigning, and in gathering the united voices of our peers to mobilize our united efforts.
The resolution still passed, but outside the text and tweets were flying. I went hunting for an endangered media species. They've just had their session on the media, and the strongest of messages was that traditional media, like us, the BBC, has failed them. Let's just go find out why they think that social media is the freedom. Look at this table here. Richard Sandbrook, who is the head of the BBC's global division, is sitting here with all these young people twittering away and blogging away. Look at Chris on it. Let's talk to Chris first. Chris, you got up on the stage and said Twitter is the platform for freedom. You don't think the old media that Richard Sandbrook heads have any power anymore?
I think the old media has a lot of power. I think that in the past the power has been used perhaps unfairly in other countries, but I think the social media is the great equalizing force, especially for young people. I mean, the creator of Facebook was only 25, so I think it is the platform to lift young people and their opinions out from developing nations.
Richard Sandbrook, do you think that was a wake-up call in there?
Oh, I think it's been a wake-up call for traditional media for a long time now, and he's absolutely right. Social media is very empowering, and we've seen how campaigns on Facebook and Twitter and so on can gather real momentum and have a real impact on news agenda and on leaders and opinion formers. But it's not either or. It's not old versus new media. The two have to learn to work together and understand each other's strengths.
So, Chris, you don't think we're toast now?
No, I think there's potential for a partnership between the two mediums, definitely.
Well, no wonder they're breaking for a cup of tea. They've been looking at the environmental crisis in the world and how to put ethics back into business. They'll need a break because later they're discussing the collision between the world's great faiths.
I'm on a journey around the world bringing my financial and business expertise to social entrepreneurs. Africa's health system is in crisis. Could this be the answer?
I just hurt my nail. Oh, sorry about that.
Is there a manicurist around? Here, the challenges are bigger and tougher.
The Saudi education system has become a national priority. Education at all levels is offered free to Saudi citizens, and the government now commits 26% of its non-military budget to colleges and schools.
On the surface, Zimbabwe appears to be on the mend. A year of so-called inclusive government has brought peace and economic stability.
Keep it up. Don't let us down.
But can they keep it up? Food might be back in the shops, but even teachers can't afford it and they're on strike.
the One Young World Summit, they break from the planned agenda to hear about the devastating earthquake in Haiti. One young man here knows all about it. He's called on stage.
Now, the other person we want to welcome to the stage is James Alcime. James is our Haitian delegate who actually we completely lost contact with.
First, I want to thank everybody for your words of support. Your one to Haiti since the beginning of this summit. Thank you very much.
And what a surprise for James and all of us here. Haitian singer Wyclef Jean joins live via satellite from New York.
There are still people under the rubble in my country. I went to Haiti after the earthquake, feeling so helpless that I started picking up dead bodies from the ground and bringing them to the cemetery. The saddest thing I saw when I got to the cemetery was that they were negotiating holes to put kids in because there was not enough holes in the cemetery to put bodies.
This is the power of modern communications. You have Wyclef Jean down the line from New York talking about Haiti after the earthquake. And on the stage is James, who survived the earthquake in Haiti. A surprise to his audience. They're absolutely mesmerized
all of the NGOs
by
and
the
government
strength of what Wyclef Jean has to tell them. Where were you when the earthquake struck?
5 minutes before the earthquake, my father has called me on the phone. So out to the outside my house, so to talk with my father. So when I told with my father, so the earthquake, so my house flat, so thanks to God I'm alive.
And your friends? Did you keep all your friends?
Many friends, you know. All the university in Haiti, so I have many friends in University Quisqueya, Pope, University Port-au-Prince, many universities, so I have friends, many friends.
Was it important for you to come here?
Yes, very, very important, because here there are many countries. Here there are many countries, United States, France, England, so Scotland, many countries. So to be here in the name of Haiti, that's a great thing for me after the earthquake, so I think very, very good, very good.
Do you think the world is going to forget Haiti, your country?
No, never. Never forget Haiti.
There was one very strong feeling in the meeting about the world's great religions. It could be a path to peace. So why is it so often a trigger for war? And just as this began as a blank sheet of paper, they had a session. What would they come up with if they could start again?
I lost my elder brother, who was 34 years old, in a suicide attack just 11 months ago. Why war? Why always to kill? This is not the solution.
As a Muslim at the moment, I feel like we're constantly being called upon to justify what other people are doing. Why? Why are you calling upon me? What did I do? I don't know a terrorist. I don't know a fundamentalist. I don't know anybody. I am a Muslim person. My faith is my religion, is me.
Many days after Haitian earthquake, when chances for survival were absolutely non-existent, rescue workers found an old man and they rescued him from under the rubble. When he was asked, how did you survive, he said, I prayed. How many of us care which God he prayed? Have a good day.
In the session, many people said that the world's religions, plural, have been used to be an excuse for conflict. Did you agree with that opinion?
It's people who are criminals. It's not the religion.
Right.
No religion says about crime. No religion says about killing innocent lives, even a single insect. But it is the people who are running those religions by any religion. Maybe they are they're following no religion, but still they will use that tag.
Religion is a beautiful thing, and it inspires people. It's culture, it's who they are, it's in their DNA. And for me, I think religion, all these religions, as was clearly indicated in the session, they are all one. We believe in one God. We just have different methods and different ways of believing in our religion. But me personally, I think religion is a private matter, and that's why I stood up.
Archbishop Desmond Tutu's listened to a lot of sermons in his time, and he was impressed with the quality of the debate. Young people here are worried that religion is triggering war.
Oh, I think they're quite right. I mean that we have tended to use religion, not just with that. I mean, you do it with keeping women, as it were, down. You use religion as an excuse, and when you think, I mean, that there is not a single faith that promotes violence. There is not a single faith that says it is good to be cruel. All the faiths that I know speak about compassion, about caring, about gentleness. We are the ones, I mean, each of us as adherents do our own thing. I mean, you have very bad Christians, you have good Christians, you have very bad Muslims, you have very good Muslims. I mean, when you think of the Dalai Lama, I mean, he's one of the holiest men I've ever met, and I don't think, I mean, that God would say when Dalai Lama gets to heaven, sorry, you are so nice, but you're not a Christian.
It's been a packed schedule. They've also had sessions on global poverty, social business with Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, health, and sport as a force for good. But just as importantly, they've made some friends for life.
In many ways, it's going to come down to this for these people here. Can they answer this question in the future? Where were you when you were 25? Where was 25-year-old Desmond Tutu?
You okay, Kate?
Me? Well, I don't remember that I ever was 25. I mean, I've always been decrepit.
Do you think these people are as angry as you were? I remember you all the way along being an angry young man. You could say you're pretty angry now. We're borrowing off these people.
Now it's a little undignified, you know, but rage against the dying of the light.
We thought they were smart and clever and unique, and they've actually turned out to be more smart, clever and unique than we were expecting.
But as Bob Geldof said to them at the opening ceremony, this is hard work.
Because you have to also be unreasonable.
Oh, we did. So we've got a room full of 800 very unreasonable young people.
We got the pen. We got the t-shirt. And where does it go from here? Well, that's what's different about this generation. They have no excuse for not keeping in touch. Communication, for most, is almost instantaneous. From me, Lise Doucette, and Paddy O'Connell, it's goodbye, and thanks for watching.